Hey guys and geeks, welcome back to the Geekritique show. We're your hosts. I'm Jen.
I'm Dakota.
And we're going to talk about Knock Knock.
Knock knock.
Doctor Who episode. What up?
Yep. Episode 4 of the 10th series of Doctor Who, Knock Knock. We have some thoughts.
We have some feelings.
We have some emotions.
It's the same thing. Alright.
Is it?
I think so.
Are feelings and emotions the same thing, and I've just been so confused my entire life, guys?
I think so.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
Alright, so...
It's coming from Spock, so he naturally gets confused.
Actually.
Oh,
speaking of Spock...
That wasn't on purpose.
Mirror, mirror.
Alright, let's do this.
Let's get back to Doctor Who. So, Jen, tell us what the entire plot of the episode.
Okay, so basically... Bill does what we all had to do at some point, which is struggle to find a decent apartment that isn't crap for like an okay price. Mm-hmm. And she did the classic mistake that some people make, and I never did, is when you see something's too good to be true, it probably is. It's most likely a scam.
Yes.
So, in this case, the scam was a little more scammy.
A little more sinister.
A little more sinister than your average, Craigslist scam.
A little creepier.
A little creepier. A little more about familial dysfunction. Her and a bunch of people rent this house for crazy cheap, and the doctor automatically has that feeling of like, yeah, no, you're like, you can't be paying that little for this house. It's way too like spooksters.
We don't actually know how much they're paying for it, but it's obviously crazy cheap for what it is.
Yeah, it's apparently crazy cheap. And I'm like so curious to know who their like real estate agent was that like led them to the conclusion that that was a good idea. Like,
well, no, they didn't have. They went to a real estate agent, remember, and then they left the real estate agent. Because,
and that guy was there.
Yeah, the guy was just waiting outside.
Oh, right.
And then conveniently, there were 6 students looking for a place to stay. Exactly 6. 6 is the golden ticket, the ticket number. Mm-hmm. The number that he needs for the house. So
perfect.
So convenient.
Yeah. They all, like the pack of idiots they are, just sign a contract without, like, looking into anything. Did they even read it? It just seemed like he was like, okay, you're gonna sign the contract, and they were like, alright, and they all just sign on, and the house starts eating people. I mean, it happens. It really does.
Not in real life, hopefully. I don't think this happens unless you have like...
Should have seen some of those ads I saw for apartments.
Unless you have like...
surprised if those houses ate me.
Sinkholes in...
It's either
like,
the house eats you or the
bedroom.
crippling debt eats you. One way or the other.
I actually have heard of like sinkholes in Florida that have like eaten people whole and they haven't been able to find the bodies.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's really sad.
It is.
That's horrible.
It's so scary.
Okay, so that leads me to like my biggest problem actually with this episode.
Go ahead.
Should I go into that? Like, are we going by plot?
Just whatever comes to our feeble little minds.
So my thing is, like, if this happened this has happened, like, twice now? It happened to, like, one other group, and then did it happen to another one, too? Of people before this group of people, there were the boxes downstairs.
Oh, no, it's happened, this is the 4th group of people.
Okay, so look.
Every 20 years.
Every 20 years this happens. And you mean to tell me none of these college students wrote or called their parents saying, this is where I live now, and conveniently everybody in the house goes missing? Like, do they not have families? Do these people never look for them? Does nobody ever, like, go to the house and be like, let's investigate the crap out of this? And then that could lead to, like, Bill making a simple Google search and being like, yeah, this place is, like, haunted or something. Like, this isn't right. Like, people go, every 20 years, 6 people go missing from this house.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point.
It drove me nuts when I was watching it. I'm like, why? If this has happened a bunch of times before, is nobody's families for any of these kids looked for them? Like, wow.
Conveniently, 6 people disappear
6 people
every
with
20
really
years.
crappy families disappear every 20 years.
Wow. At this location. And...
like, I feel like somebody would have... Even if, like, investigators went through and didn't see anything because he didn't, like, summon the bugs or whatever, like, after 4 times of that happening, like, I'm pretty sure they would know that that guy's, like, a serial killer and be like, okay, we don't know how you're doing it. We don't know where you're keeping the bodies, but you're clearly doing something wrong.
Right.
And then on top of that, he's so scary and creepy already. Like, it really wouldn't be that difficult to be like, so every 20 years, 6 people go missing from your house, and you're an absolute freak of nature. Okay. Like, dots have been connected.
And you don't let anyone into the tower.
Yeah.
Police want to go into the tower? No. Not there. There's no way in.
Like a really quick investigation, and his whole jig is up.
Guess there's no one in this house anymore. Yeah, actually, that is a huge plot hole.
It's not like you sign a lease and you have to move in that day. So it's like, what are the chances that all of those people, like, their previous lease ended, they're all able to move into this place the same day that they sign the contract, and none of them tell anyone else where they're going to be living? Like, that's, to me, just not realistic, and that definitely took me out of the episode quite a bit.
The landlord didn't even get perturbed when the doctor showed up and kind of knew that these kids were staying in the house, and the landlord knew that these kids were going to be eaten by the house.
Yeah, I don't get it. Maybe, well, I think, too, with the doctor, he knew, like, maybe if Bill went missing, you know, he would come back the next day, and then the guy could eat him, too. Or the bugs could eat him too. Like,
right.
If the doctor came, then the trees get him or something.
Maybe. You know? Okay. I can buy that.
That doesn't bother me so much as.
But how is he surviving? How has he survived for 70 years if he rarely leaves the house? How does he have the money to continue living? How does he buy food? How does
he have to pay taxes, dude?
Yeah, how does he pay taxes on this property if he doesn't rent it out to anyone? How does
He's just been a sinister little boy his whole life.
With bugs.
With bugs,
and
maybe.
A wooden mama.
It's just, like, a lot of things, like, so the first time I watched the episode, you're kind of into, like, the scariness of it, so you're like, ooh, that's scary. But then, like, the second time watching it, I was like, yeah, what the heck is, like, you know, once you know what it is, it's kind of more of, like, not knowing what the monster looks like for a while, and then finding out it's, like, the bugs from the mummy, and you're like, whoa.
Well, it's a kind of a spin on the scarab beetles of the mummy.
Mm-hmm.
It's not actually scarab beetles. They kind of looked like palmetto cockroaches mixed with roly-polies to me.
Mm-hmm. I liked when they were in their little chocolate form.
Oh, yeah.
They were kind of cute. I would keep one as a pet.
I wouldn't, if I were you. Just...
It can't reproduce if you keep it in a cage.
How do you know?
Yeah, that's true.
We have no idea how these things reproduce.
Plus, I have Kavoth. He's the only pet I need.
Yes, where is he? Is he sleeping?
He's in his corner.
Yeah, he's probably sleeping. I did like the bugs. I thought that was a really cool thing. That they could literally manipulate the wood on a cellular level, and they're able to phase in and out of it. Kind of like a termite, but you can reform the wood any which way you'd like. That's really cool. It wasn't expressly said where these came from, but several times throughout the episode, the doctor does admit that they are alien, especially at the end when he's talking to the vault. He does say alien bugs. So these are from outer space somehow, and this young boy found them in his garden somehow. Let's go back to like how he has gotten by without paying taxes or anything. He didn't even know who the prime minister of, like, he didn't know who Margaret Thatcher was.
But honestly, like, for all we know, he had, like, some crazy dowry. Like, where's his dad, too? Like, there's no dad in the picture.
I don't know. I really don't know.
But, I guess with that, like, you don't know how much he's inherited. And he seems like a frugal guy. That I give him, because everything is... He hasn't updated jack crap in the house.
If the doctors that were treating his mother and failing put him outside and he came back the next day, or he came back later that day with a bunch of bugs, nobody called on this house again and noticed that the mother has a
the, like, 9-year-old boy is like, hey, you guys can go home, I cured her, don't worry about it. And no, I don't need to go to an orphanage. She's fine. She's fine.
She's just sleeping in upstairs in the tower room.
Like, did he have, like, all the doctors? Oh, maybe he had all the doctors eaten by bugs.
That's possible, but again...
Like, anybody who enters the house is...
Just, like, instantly, like, come on in, let's go.
I just don't get how he trained the bugs. I don't get it, like, so they're like, oh, high-pitched noises. It's like, how did he realize... And I don't get it, so you make a high-pitched noise and suddenly, like, you can telepathically control the bugs? Like, how does it work? I was very confused as to, like... I took his parents' dog for a run today, and I was amazed at, like, how far he's come. He's about a year old, and, like, how long it took for him to get, like, basic things. Okay. You know? And now he's gotten really good. Like, he's very good all of the things that, you know, you want him to do. He's not perfect, but he's getting there.
But it's a border collie.
But-
It's a very smart dog.
Yeah, he's a great dog. And that's what I'm saying. Like, how does this kid, he's 9 years old, he's a genius if he learned in literally one day in his garden how to control a horde of bugs.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a lot of work, because, like, just the border collie gave me a run for my money today, you know?
Mm-hmm. You mentioned something. He has the little, I don't know what the actual tool is called, the little instrument that he uses to tap the wood and make the resonating high-pitch frequency. But he does that several times throughout the episode. I think he just likes doing it. I don't even think, is that helping him control the bugs? It does help him at the end of the episode, kind of, until the mother takes over. But every time before that, it just kind of like he's doing it in the midst of all those students and the doctor, and just because I think he has like a nervous twitch, like a knock on wood sort of twitch.
He says OCD. Well,
Yeah,
you
he's
develop a lot of things if you're just isolated with your mom
Yeah.
/ daughter for that long. Overall, I really wasn't crazy about this one. Because then even too, Bill, I like Bill a lot, but she kind of got on my nerves with constantly trying to, like, shoo the doctor out of the house. You can't blame him. You should be old enough to know this is a sketchy situation.
Right.
And honestly, like, he's the doctor. He's so cool. Like, why are you like, this is a part of my life you're not in?
Well, I can understand that, though, because she looks up to him as a mentor figure. She sees him as a really cool professor, currently, that she can travel time and space with. But she still wants to have her own life. And we've seen this a few times with the past few companions, that they do want to come back home. They do want to go back to work. They do want to live a normal life alongside their life with the doctor. And I think this was Bill's attempt at that.
Okay, so you can try to attempt to do that, but you don't have to be mean in front of everybody. Calling him a grandpa, telling him, like, go home, okay, go home. Like, you're acting like a spoiled brat. Like, you could just pull him aside. The way that she did it at first, saying, like, okay, this is my life, you know, there's nothing going on. She should have did that a lot earlier. Don't use him for a ride in the TARDIS to get your stuff to your house and then just try to kick him out after. Like, he helped you out and did you a favor. Maybe the least you can do is treat him to some Chinese food.
That's true.
Like,
Bill.
holy crap, like, you don't have people help you move, and then you don't, like, help out. Like, you don't, like, give anything back.
Throwing shade on Bill.
Yeah, I like Bill with this episode. Maybe it's because I'm not feeling good and I'm sassafras.
No, but you bring up some
But it
really
just
good
kind
points.
of annoyed me because I'm like, wow, she's being so rude. He's your mentor. He helps you with all of these things. He's giving you a great education that, you know, you were serving chips.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. You were serving some chips, and he's helping you move. He's teaching you things. Least you can do is let him hang with your friends and give him some Chinese.
Yeah.
And everybody loves him. Everybody wanted him to stay.
I think because of his lectures, all those kids actually knew who he was, and they actually called him the Doctor, which is really cool. And they think of him as a legend, and they may not even know that he is what he is.
No, they have no idea. That's why...
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
Until the end, when he saves everyone. Someone commented on another video of ours where they asked why only those 6 students came back to life and not the others after the house was devoured. And I think that can easily be explained. I mean, it's not expressly stated, but there's a reason that these kids are like taken in every 20 years, and I think that's because it takes, for every 6 people, it takes about 20 years for the house to digest and need more fuel, I guess.
That makes sense.
So
And that guy, he was kind of like halfway out. He was still like conscious, kind of. Like he was still alive.
yeah, he hadn't
They're
been
just,
fully
like,
digested,
in a box.
I guess. I like how they came out with like their full outfits though. Like if I had been eaten up by bugs, I would not. I'd be very surprised if I like came back with a full outfit. Like,
like,
perfectly
oh, this is my
intact.
favorite shirt. Perfect. I hated like how trendy this episode tried to be.
Ugh.
The music literally killed me inside. The first song at the beginning, I was like, what is this? Why? And then with like them dancing and stuff in the living room, and that one girl, I actually liked her reaction because it was like, that's totally how I would be. Like,
Which
if
one?
the
Which
house...
girl?
The girl that she was like really scared, she was like, I can't be trapped. I can't be trapped.
Oh, the Asian one.
Yeah, her.
I forget. I don't know if they. Oh, they did name.
They
her.
did name them.
But
I forget.
briefly, yeah.
I liked her reaction to the scary stuff because honestly, that's literally how I'd be. I would be out. Like, there is no doubt about that in my mind. Like, I don't care. As soon as doors started closing, things, doors all over the place, window shades thrown. I would literally just book it.
Find an axe, rip your way out.
Like, nothing would keep me back. Like, I would lose my mind. Her change in mood kind of... So in, like, the first scene when they're all, you know, on the couch hanging out, she's hearing noises and she's really scared and really spooked. And then their creepy freaking landlord comes and does a couple of weird things. Like, nobody even paid attention to the fact that he had no idea who the prime minister was. Like, nobody said, like, seriously, there's something horribly wrong with that guy. Like, nobody even acknowledged that. And then 5 minutes after that, she's, like, dancing to the music with the doctor. I'm like, I would still be really freaked out. I'd still be like, I think I'm gonna... I have a friend nearby, I'm gonna go stay there. You guys ride this out, and if you survive the night, maybe I'll come back.
Why did nobody think it was, like, odd that in this old house they didn't have any form of working outlets?
Well, they probably thought because we paid so little, like, we didn't look into that kind of stuff.
How has this house remained there without proper renovation after all of these years, and how can they expect to pay anything without a working house? Those are simple amenities that you kind of have to you have to pay for.
Well, no, it wasn't that the house didn't have electricity. It was that the outlets didn't
Yeah,
work they weren't compatible with the phones chargers. But there were physically outlets there. They just didn't work.
They were outdated outlets.
Yeah, so that's something that they realized that night, though. They didn't know. They didn't check it when they signed the lease that day and just moved in.
Yeah.
Without, like, looking into anything. And what do you think, that crazy little man has an iPhone? Like,
no, I don't.
He doesn't need it.
I don't, but I'm saying, like, why didn't they bat an eye? Even if I go to, like, a cabin in the middle of the woods and I spent a weekend there, I'd be very, very surprised if there weren't proper outlets for the 21st century.
Okay, so a little insight into Dakota. He's always lived in, like, more urban areas where, like, Wi-Fi always works, your electricity never goes out. And when we first got married, we were looking at, you know, more rural areas. Like, I really liked some, like, carriage houses and, like, small cabins and stuff like that. And we went to one that really, it's very close to a lot of things. It was, like, not a bad, it wasn't the sticks by any means to me. And he didn't want to live there because he was like, our Wi-Fi is just going to shut off for no reason. Like, it can't be that strong there. Yeah, I can't live here. This is the middle of nowhere.
I don't recall any of this.
How convenient.
There had to be a better reason we chose not to live there. It must have been, like, really far from a highway or something.
No, it was close to everything.
I don't remember. What did you think about the resolution to the episode that this landlord guy has been pretending to be the father of this wooden creature girl for the past 70 years, but really he's the son the whole time, and I don't understand the mystery. Like, why even pretend that you are the father in the relationship?
Well, I think she would realize, like, I'm a lot younger than you, so you can't, like, how are you my son? Like, I think she was very sick, and after being isolated for so long, like, because it said, like, it distorts her memory, but that's, like, an obvious thing that she would put together, and she didn't see anything wrong with her. When Bill and her friend were standing there and, like, looking at her, you know, kind of in shock, she was like, oh, is something wrong? She said something like that, and Bill said, oh, you have something right here, because she didn't realize, like, she's literally made of wood, so she doesn't know anything's wrong with her, and for him to keep that facade up. I mean, but that's my thing. Like, if you don't know that you're made of wood, how would you even, like, comprehend, like, age and stuff like that? But whatever. It's
such a weird dynamic, a weird family dynamic, because, like, what kind of conversations can you have with your mother, who's made of wood, doesn't remember anything, doesn't even remember that she's your mother? She's just cooped up in this room with literally nothing in it. There's I don't see any books in there.
Yeah, what is she doing?
The windows are all closed, so she can't even see what's happening outside. She doesn't even know what year it is. It's just such a bizarre, like, concept, and I don't think it completely landed. I think the acting on both the actors who played the landlord and
the landlord actually was really
Eliza.
Good.
I think they both did a fantastic job. The wood prosthetics that they placed on the actress who played Eliza, I'm sorry, I don't know the actress's name, looked very uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. But it looked extremely well done at the same time. So props to the costumers in this episode, because they really did a good job with that. Really made it creepy. And I think with what they were given, which wasn't much, the actors were able to pull off an incredible performance that touched the heart, if it didn't touch any sensible logic.
Yeah, that's true. And then even too at the end where it is revealed that he's a little boy basically in his, like, he hasn't developed at all, you know, since his mom almost died. That makes a lot more sense because it's almost like a child throwing a temper tantrum and just doing anything he can to get what he wants. And I liked that, and I thought the actor did a great job at the end, especially. He was really good and really convincing. So that's something that that's probably, his acting was probably my favorite thing of the episode.
Okay.
Because I thought he just did a great job with acting like a child, you know.
Fair enough.
Towards the end. And then all of, like, the weird, awkward stuff he does kind of makes more sense. Because he does act like a kid the entire episode, but you don't realize that until the end.
Would you consider this the weakest point of the season so far?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Definitely.
Was it a bad episode?
The first time I watched it, I didn't think it was horrible. We had a really strong start to the season, so that made me very happy, you know, to see that we were going in a really great direction. And I know too that there's some there's some big thing coming up that I don't know what it is because I didn't want to find out that the BBC released. I've been really looking forward to that. So then just to kind of get this, like, weird episode in the middle annoyed me a little. The scene at the end with the vault I really liked, and I like the continuity of it. There is, like, a greater story going on in the background, but yeah, this episode didn't really do much for me. Like, it didn't really pull my heartstrings enough, and it didn't, like, logically, it was, like, comically ridiculous at points, like.
It was comically inept.
Yes.
Now, I feel very similarly to you. It was the weakest of this season so far, I believe. As far as, like, it being a creepy episode, it totally nailed that part down. I loved how they made the wood kind of like seamless doors, so these dryads that the doctor called them were able to seamlessly, like, shut doors and shutters and all that. Even, like, the stuff where, like, they would knock on the door and it would knock back from, like, behind them. I thought that was really creepy. Was cool. But, like, who's teaching these bugs to knock? Well, obviously it's the stupid landlord who's teaching all these things.
Is this guy just, like, running around the house, like, knocking? Because how could the bugs knock? They don't have fists. It has to be him.
Who knows?
That guy really cracks me up. Just picturing him, like, because he's like a little kid running all around the house causing mischief.
And you know he has, like, secret tunnels too, because he just appears in every other room. Just like, hi. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. If you have watched up to this point, what should the keyword be? Alright, so the keyword this week I came up with this time. Yay, go Dakota. Who's there?
Right, knock knock. Yeah. Knee slapper.
Alright, thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, give us a like, comment who's there if you have gotten this far, and if you don't already follow us, maybe give us a sub.
We'd love that.
We would love that.
We hit 6,000 and we're really happy.
Yeah, this past week.
Yeah, so thank you guys.
We're riding on that high.
We absolutely adore you all.
Bye.
Bye.